Now, I'm sure when you see Leatherface, brotherly love and goodwill towards man ain't the first thing that pops in your head. But sometimes events unfold in unexpected ways. But before we delve any deeper into that story, let's go ahead and check out what we've got right here in front of us. This is Screamin's 1990 Leatherface, Texas Chainsaw Massacre, the Collector's Edition quarter scale kit. It comes with two chainsaw blade options, the original blade, the plain blade from the first movie, or the Excalibur chainsaw customization, which I think was from the third movie. The box art was illustrated by Simon Fury. If you look at this real close, it's like a painting, and it was sculpted by Thomas Kuntz. Now that we got all the rigmarole out of the way, let's open up the box. All right, so you see I got him all laid out here, and he's one big bastard coming in at quarter scale. Not many pieces, though. We've got the waist and legs with the lower apron already attached, torso with arm, one arm, and head already attached. Over here we got the chainsaw, the other arm. Got the wire that you make your handles for your chainsaw from. And over here we got the blade. Now, remember at the beginning I said there was supposed to be two blades when I was reading the box. Now, you just keep that in mind. We'll come back to that. All right, so first let's go off of here and look at the paperwork like I always like to do. First off, we got the old Screamin t-shirt offer. And man, I wish I would have been around the hobby to get me one of them back in the day. But I love this old stuff, man. Once again, it's mail order only, no website. And it only costs $10. That's about one 1973 monogram B-52 bomber. We've also got an advert here for Model Resource Magazine, and I honestly have never heard of this one, but it looks pretty cool. I'm sure it's probably not around anymore. I'd have to check it out and see. We've got separate directions for our little chainsaw box, but we'll come back to those in a minute. And here's an advertisement for Amazing Figure Modeler magazine with Frankenstein on the cover, and I'm not 100%, but I'm pretty sure probably Maestro Dave Fisher painted that himself. But what really caught my eye, though, was on the subscription form. Once again, no email address, no website, just please mail checks and money orders payable to. And here's the part that saddens me a little bit. Back then, Amazing Figure Modeler was based in Columbus, Ohio. That's my hometown. It even says right there, zip code 43230. Mine was 43223. So I probably lived just a few miles away and had absolutely no idea that the hobby even existed in like this. On the back, we got an ad for Revenge of the Garage Kit That Ate My Wallet by Terry J. Webb. Once again, all mail order, no website or whatever. And it's actually saying coming soon, volume 4. And right below it, we have an advertisement for Model Mania on VHS. Oh my goodness, I would kill to have these. Hell, I don't even have anything to play VHS tapes on, and I would still buy these. Now, I've got all the DVDs, but at the time, they were still advertising volume 4 as coming soon. There's 5 volumes. And, you know, I just love all this old stuff. I mean, it's just a walk down nostalgia lane, and it gives us a little look at what was planned and what we know now has come to pass. And last but not least, we got the 1998 Screamin product catalog, and it's got all the kits in here that we all know and love. Well, what I thought was really interesting was right here. It says, coming early spring, Xena the Warrior Princess. Well, unfortunately, Xena never made it because the company closed before that kit was released. But that's enough of the nostalgia and reminiscing. Let's go ahead and get this out of the way. We got a little separate chainsaw instructions right here, and basically this thing's just telling you where to cut the box off. It's telling you this is a plate. You cut it out, it goes in the front right there, and to leave a gap to stick your saw blade in on the side. And I mean, man, these are pretty good. I love these old instructions. All right, let's check out our main directions here real quick. typical Screamin directions. We're not going to get all crazy into it. They show you cutting, prepping, sanding, assembling, and gluing, securing the chainsaw to the hands, how to bend your handle for your chainsaw to hold, the customizing for the Excalibur blade. And it even says right here, stop, read these directions first. Well, it didn't work with me, did it? On the back, it's got a little write-up about Leatherface and your credits here. Design, Daniel Mark Face. Sculpture, Tom Kuntz. Illustration, Simon Fury. Photography, Bill DeMichelle. Now that we got all that out of the way, let's get to the meat and potatoes. So how I came up on this kit was through a good buddy of mine, Tim Lunsford from Facebook. Now, even though we've never met in person, Tim and I talk almost every day. And I can't really remember, honestly, how we started talking, but I guarantee you it was over models. Now, at the time, I was still trying to round up all the Cenobites. And Tim asked me if I had Leatherface, and I told him no, and he said, man, that's a cool kit. You ought to check it out. And so off to eBay with Klarna in hand I went. If you know, you know. Well, I found one that, if I remember correctly, was the only one unbuilt available, and the box looked like it was in great shape. You've seen it already. And the seller had all the parts laid out on the table, kind of like I got here, but he had like a black cloth underneath, and you know, nice fancy how they do over there on the eBay. And everything major looked to be present, so I bought it. So while I was waiting for it to arrive, I happened to go back in and go through the pictures on the seller's listing, you know, and I was looking at the little stuff on the box lid, you know, it's a collector's edition. Then I seen it mention 2 saw blades, and I couldn't really tell from the seller's pictures if it had both blades because everything was still in little baggies, and honestly, I wasn't paying that much attention. So a few days later, it showed up, and I know some of you are like me. I'm not special. Once it gets to the house, you feel like the quest almost feels like it's over, though. You know, you're like, I conquered it. So finally, I opened it, and I started going through everything, and that's when I noticed that there was only one blade. So I messaged the seller, and he said that he had no idea, and honestly, I believed him. I mean, everything matched the listing, and the little bag then before I opened it even still had a staple in it. So I just let it go because, you know, at least I had the plain blade. You know, you can see it, the chain on it, and it looks very nice. And a little later, I was talking to Tim again, and I was telling him that the kit had arrived. And I remember he mentioned how soft the vinyl was on his kit, and I actually sent him a video of me tapping mine because mine is hard as a rock. But then I mentioned the missing blade, and here's where it gets a little weird, but in a cool way. So Tim told me when he bought his kit, it actually listed in the auction on there that that one blade was missing from his. Only in his, it wasn't the same blades. He had the engraved, the saw is family Excalibur blade, and I had the plain one. Now, don't get me wrong. I think Texas Chainsaw, the first one, Texas Chainsaw Massacre, is the best movie by far out of them. It feels to me like there's some kind of morbid documentary in the way that it's filmed. It's really just like, ugh. But I've always loved that ridiculous Excalibur chainsaw from part 3. That's when Tim told me he actually wanted the plain blade all along so he could build his to match the first movie.
Thus a pact was made, a bargain was struck, blood oaths taken in the ways of the old.
We exchanged addresses. So Tim mailed me his blade. You can see the saw is family, along with these little cool alchemical bottles, because he remembered me complaining in the Mobius bride video, you know, the one with them sitting on the couch, the plastic kit, about the seam lines running through this way. So he got these little bottles and made these up and give me a few. And one of them, I think it's this one. You can't probably tell on the camera. Oh, but still has a little bubble in it, and it floats around in the. It's just so cute. And I mailed him my plane blade wrapped in the first page of a Boggy Creek Life script, autographed and tucked inside an envelope because, hey, it might be worth 7 cents one day. Okay, so you've been looking at the kit the whole time I've been telling you that little story, so I'll hold it up here for you real quick. I mean, it looks really great for what it is. Thomas Kuntz did a fantastic job. I mean, it's a big man wearing a butcher's apron with somebody else's face carrying a chainsaw. You can see stitching from the mask. Got really nice textured hair. He's even got the little bars that hold the mouth open like it happens in the movie. Nice folding textures for clothes. I mean, because, you know, Bubba just wore some old dress clothes. So, you know, it's not really textured up or anything crazy like that. Your chainsaw looks like a chainsaw. And, yeah, there you go. But honestly, what I was really trying to get across with this video wasn't the kid at all. It's the people. I mean, hell, even my lifelong best friend, Dave, back in Columbus, we've been friends since we were 12 years old. And we initially bonded over a box of busted up model car parts. Now, don't get me wrong. Not everyone is perfect. You're always going to have a few bad seeds trying to sell, recast, or rip other people off or whatever. But in my experience, those people have been few and far between. I've really been lucky enough to meet the right people from the very beginning who taught me who to steer clear of. Now, on the other end of the spectrum, you guys have seen it yourselves because I've said it in the videos before that 9 times out of 10, if I can get a hold of somebody that had anything to do with one of these kits, even if it was 30 years ago, they're more than willing to talk to me, tell me the history behind it, and answer all my questions. I mean, hell, there's even a Facebook group called the Parts Pit where people help each other track down missing pieces. And, you know, sometimes people charge you. A lot of times they just give it to you. And I've even had some people sell me some kits for like next to nothing, kits that they could have got a whole lot more money for just because they watched one of those old terrible Boggy Creek Life videos and liked my enthusiasm. And that means a lot to me because I didn't get to do this stuff when I was younger like a lot of you guys did. Now, I'm sure there are other hobbies with the same kind of camaraderie. As a matter of fact, I know there are, but these are my people. You know that old saying that says you'll know when you find your tribe? Well, I'm finally home. Let's go ahead and get you guys out of here. So I'd like to hear from you. What's been your most positive experience with the modeling community? Maybe somebody helped you find a part or sold you a kit they could have gotten way more money for, or maybe gave you some advice that stuck with you, or maybe you even made a new lifelong friend. I want to hear your story. In fact, I'm going to pin this question down in the comments to keep it there so you can see it and keep it rolling. Once again, if you have made it this far, I appreciate you greatly, and you are my kind of people. So if you haven't already, why don't you hit that like and subscribe button? Every little bit helps this channel grow. Another thing that helps the channel grow, it costs absolutely nothing, is if you see a little hype button below this video, go ahead and YouTube gives you some points to spend on that. And that does exactly what it says. It hypes the video up and tells YouTube, hey, push this out to more people, which ultimately helps the channel grow as well. If you'd like to help the channel a little bit more, I do have a Patreon. The link is in the description. Simple $3 a month tier. And what we do there is we get together once a month. I call it the hangout, usually at the end of the month, for an hour or so, or however long everybody feels like doing it. And we do some building or talking about movies and models and life, whatever pops up. It's a good time had by all. And I have also unlocked channel memberships and super thanks. And the channel memberships have 2 tiers. It is a $3 and $4 tier. The $3 tier is the Bog Dweller, which you get membership polls, loyalty badges, and specialized emojis. And the $4 tier is the Skunk Ape, where you get all that. Plus you get a shout out, the episode that's made after you join. And you also get early access to upcoming videos. And the super thanks is just like a tip jar, you know, it's no commitment involved. It's just like if you really like the video and you want to throw a couple bucks and buy me a coffee or something, that's what the super thanks is for. I do have a workable list of upcoming videos that I'm working on, and a couple of the build rotations being thrown back into that. You guys, if you've been watching, you know what kits that are. And yeah, so it's time to edit this and get back to it. Till we see each other again, be good to each other. Model on. Sit, Rocco, sit. Good dog. Roof.